Welcome to the Peak Mental Performance Podcast with Joe Schillero, optimizing your mental health and athletic performance one episode at a time.
How's it going, man?
Good. Except for my AC went to shit last night, so I'm kind of pissed off about that.
Dude, that sucks. Were you able to sleep in at all today?
Yeah, I slept in a little bit.
That's good, man. So, how's that book been since you've been reading Jim's book?
It's really interesting.
I'd be interested to know like what it's like, because like that was one of the first things I read about powerlifting, and then I got away from it all. And then ironically, as more time has went on, I've gone back and read it, and stuff makes a ton of sense now, like even more. And it's interesting, like from your perspective, what it's got to be like reading it for the first time as like a veteran. But
it's like I think I texted the biggest thing that I keep thinking is control. Like this is all about control and not overdoing everything and getting stuck in that concept of more is better, and it's all stuff that I've preached and talked about the whole time about like not overtraining and making sure you have plenty of rest time. And I would spread my workouts out, but I look back now and I'm like, I still wasn't really listening to what I should have been doing, and in reading it, and then I'm like, yeah, I know you don't have to kill all your supplemental stuff, but I have this tendency to go to failure in every set, and I'm like, I got to get control of this. And even in the book, like the percentages are good because it can kind of hold you back. But at the same time, you're like, you need to do that on your supplemental stuff too. Like he says, it's not, you don't have to do every one to failure to get stronger. And one of the other interesting things I found is like, there's a lot of similarities with what Dorian Yates used to do too, with those last sets being crazy. And because I saw a thing about Dorian Yates too, where he's talking about, he would do his warm-up sets and he's like, these are important too. Like he goes, I focused on the last set, but these ones are important too. And even like Jim's 5-3-1, it's the first two sets. They may not seem heavy. They may not seem like a lot of reps, but they're still really important to that third rep. And it's just really interesting, and I absolutely love how simple he keeps it. And like he must have made me laugh out loud like 8 times, just some of the shit he puts in there.
Yeah,
that just cracks me the hell up.
Well, it's funny is like I think when I read it when I was first starting powerlifting, in my mind I was like, oh, this is super simple. It must be like beginner stuff, right? And
yeah.
And then I was like, I think a lot of people go through this thing where they're like, all right, I'm getting more advanced. I got to make things more complicated. And then it's like, I went back and read it. And now I'm like, no, this is advanced stuff that it's like, but it's just broken down simple. Like,
Right.
So it's, I agree. It's,
well, even like when he talks about doing the main movement, like that's the main movement. That's what's important. Like the stuff after that is really not that big a deal. And it's kind of funny because I've always said like, yeah, it's not rocket science, but there is science to it. And like, we overcomplicate everything. And you're right. We do. We're like, oh, we're getting better. So I need to add these movements in and I need to use these bands and these chains. And like, speaking of that, there's not one mention of bands or chains in that book that I've read, I think, except for like, if you're loading up like push-ups or something like that. And so it's like, I think you're right. I think we try to complicate it. And then as we get better, we try we need more advanced stuff. And even I have one of George Halbert's old bench DVDs, or actually I think it's a VHS. And he was one of the first guys I talked to. He goes, as you get stronger, you actually will end up training less, not more. And people go, well, I'm getting stronger, so I need to train more. It's like, well, no, because you really haven't thought about it and I think I wrote an article about this a long time ago. I go, okay, let's say you bench 500 pounds. How long does it take you to warm up and get to that 500 pounds? Now, say you bench 700 pounds. And I actually calculated out the amount of volume that you added into your training just because it takes that much longer to warm up to it. Now you're doing reps with 500 where you used to do 1. So there's an extra 1,500 pounds maybe of volume that you're adding in. And a lot of people don't take that into consideration either. And I mean, like, just the stronger you get, the simpler it is, the more you can push your body. Like I can get a lot more out of my body than I ever could before. One of the interesting things about that book that I was thinking, and I've been thinking about this a lot the last few weeks, because I'm like, God damn, like I have no fucking endurance. And I'm like, when I started powerlifting, my first 3-lift meet, I totaled 1,700 pounds. And I was doing like 5 sets of 5 with like, on my squats with like 565. And I mean, they were Olympic style, like all the way down. And I'm like, I can squat way a shit ton more than I could, but I can't do that right now. Right. Well, maybe I could now, but I'm like, so there's this, I'm wondering the difference between, like, I feel like I train my body to be all out for 1 rep. And in that term, I got really strong with that one. But then, like Jim talks about in the book, anything reps more than that, I actually got kind of weaker in some ways. And it's like, that's an interesting thing of where do you want your strength to be? Yeah. And is there a better balance where you could train like that, but then you take, okay, I'm going to take 12 weeks to get ready for a meet to really hit that 1 rep, which I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's some evidence too, and something that I've tried to work on is that the better your work capacity is, the better your nervous system can recover from the heavier stuff, and that there's like evidence shown in some stuff that actually helps with people with depression and stuff. So it's like actually having like being able to hit stuff heavy and then having shitty work capacity or endurance actually can make the heavier stuff more detrimental to your mental state and burn you out even worse.
No, I would actually completely agree with that. Because, I mean, that's kind of one of the things I was looking at. And I'm like, well, maybe in my training, I was so focused on my 1 rep max that if I would have kept doing some other stuff, I would have recovered better. And those things wouldn't have been as hard on my system. I mean, because even like with this whole thing, saying I wanted to be back like I was in my 20s, like I had good endurance. Maybe my 1 rep max wasn't where it is now, but it seemed like even having that ability in the gym to lift longer and do more reps made everything in life easier. I mean, it almost made stress easier to deal with stress and everything, you know, looking back at it now. And that's kind of where I'm trying to do more reps and get in better shape. But even at that, I think I'm going to follow my 310s for the rest of this month. And then I think I'm just going to do Wendler's program and see what happens. I haven't decided what split I want to try yet, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just loved, like, you know, as much as for a long time, and I think a lot of people, it's really beneficial to have some of that subjective, like, kind of how max effort works, working up to stuff. I just came to the realization of, like, I can't do it. I have the discipline overall, but I don't have the discipline in the moment when I'm selecting my weights during the day to not go too heavy. And so, right. Like, Jim's stuff was just great. And kind of like to what we were talking about before about, like, training too light, the training max is so good for keeping me accountable, because then it's like it keeps me from, you know, letting things creep up too high. So,
right.
Yeah, it's been good for me.
I think we're in the same boat. I mean, I keep trying to control myself, and I want to control myself because I'm a control freak. And I'm coming to the point where it's like, Chad, how long have you been trying this? And you still go to the gym and you still do stupid shit because you get into it and you get in that mindset, that little Superman mindset when you're going for the heavy stuff, and you can't stop yourself. So there has to be some other way for you to, and it's still control. I mean, it's still controlling. It would be my choice to do this program and have following this program, and I'm going to increase it. It's honestly, I've read a bunch of different books, and I would have to say it's the best training book I think I've ever read. Like, I would recommend that before anybody else.
Well, even people who, I've told people, like, even if you're not going to do 5-3-1, I think it's still worth reading, because I think it's got a lot of good stuff in it that just is good truth when it comes to training.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really flat out truths to training and stuff, and it's still hard for me to grab the concept of less is more and not going for max efforts, because I like conjugate. I like training conjugate. And I'm not even saying conjugate is bad.
Yeah.
But I think right now for me, this is going to be interesting to train. And I think, like, I kind of like how you've added some speed type stuff into it. But I'm just going to give it, I think the first time I'm just going to give it, like, basically I'm going to do pretty much what it says. And then depending on how I lay the program out, I think I'll do like a 3-day-a-week thing, and try that. But yeah, it's really weird. Like I did this week, Monday, I did my 3 sets of 10. I did I did squat, deadlift. And what I think I did glute ham raises, abs, and like honestly, I was sore till Friday.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck am I sore 5 fucking days later from 3 sets of 10?
That's
and like my endurance drops off so fucking fast. Like the second set, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And the third set, I'm like, motherfucker, like I only did 8. I'm like, I could have got out 10, but I go, come on, back off.
Well, it's crazy. Even the stuff where even at the end of the day, I feel like I didn't do any. Like this weekend, it was like my lightest week of like, it was like I did like 12 triples with like 365 on deadlift and just like reset in between each rep. It was like boring. I got done. I was like, that was nothing. My ass was so sore today. I was like, it's just like all those reps accumulative. If you look at like the total weight moved, like it still adds up. And but you know, I feel good. Like I'm not like I don't. If I would have worked up and pulled a heavy single today, I probably would have been a wreck. So
Yeah.
you know, it's what I like about gym stuff too is it's like a set program, so it'll kind of give you that structure, but like that top set of as many reps as you can, it's like that chance to still be able to push it, and it's kind of been cathartic for me to like still be able to have that set where you can look forward to it and push it a little bit. But it's like pushing it at a percentage where it's not going to leave you wrecked afterwards.
Right. That's interesting that you said that too, because I mean, even though I was sore shit this week, it wasn't mentally as bad as like, say, going for that 1 rep max of a good morning or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there's something to on the reps. It's like it's almost like when you do that 1 rep max, you're working all your major muscle movers. And then if you try to do 5s or 10s, those actually end up getting tired of the first 3 or 4 reps. And then you're using all these secondary muscle groups and stabilizers. And I think that I look back now and I go, man, at one point I probably was doing too much max stuff, and like these other muscle groups weren't getting worked like they should have been worked. So I think that's one of the things where I think conjugate could actually, you know, they could throw in some. And that's what I was doing before I switched to this last one, is I was doing basically conjugate, but I would throw 5x5 in there too.
Well, you know, I agree, because, you know, people sometimes will make the point, and I've thought this in the past, of like, yeah, but that rep set or doing the primary lifts for more than a couple reps, your technique will start to break down. And I agree, which is why I do a lot of the lower speed rep stuff. But in some cases, like that top set and having it get a little fatigued and have to fight through letting your technique break down, even if it's not perfect, when your technique breaks down a little bit, all those secondary muscles have to work. And then that's going to help you in a 1 rep max, because we all know that technique's not always perfect when you're getting under a heavy bar. So those secondary muscles are going to have to work anyways. So I found that like even those top sets of, you know, pushing a hard set of 8 or 10, I think it carries over well to my max stuff when I do go max.
I think it definitely does. And like you said, it's never perfect. I mean, like I said earlier, I've never missed a weight because of strength. There's always been some sort of technical issue that came into play, and those muscle groups are still there. Plus now you're pushing your technique to where you're tired and it's trying to go out. And the idea is to keep fighting on that technique and get it right. And this gives you an opportunity to fight to keep the technique right without having such massive weight that if you do get out of the groove, you hurt yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very beneficial.
Yeah,
I was yelling at the kids at the gym the other day because they really like elbows out inclines for their triceps.
I saw you video
I'm like, how often do you guys actually do this? And they're like, oh, we do it all the time. I go, you do understand that exercise was designed, like if you miss groove in a competition, you still have some strength with your elbows. Right? Like that should be like exercise all the time.
It's funny. Make sure this
is... Are you still there?
Yeah. Okay, we're good. Yeah, just pause for a second. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Like you, I mean, I think I've liked your videos of your assistance work stuff too, because, yeah, it's like assistance work, like you said, I think last time we talked, everybody brutalizes it, and then a lot of people have been doing it wrong, and they don't ever see the right way because everyone's always only posting their heavy, flashy stuff.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's like I've seen somebody do something little where I'm like, oh shit, I was doing that wrong. So
Yeah,
it's good
yeah.
to see.
That's the same thing. Like I love doing JM presses, but I'm like, there's kind of like 3 different versions that I see.
Yep.
There's one that Kazmar used to do, which is in a Smith machine, and which I kind of like because you can actually really just hammer the shit out of your triceps because you're not working on balance. And then like JM's real version, like you can't go that heavy with.
No.
Like it's pretty strict, and like it's really about focusing on your inner head. And then like when Dave taught me to do them, that was more like I could load it up and you weren't going as deep, but I love those too because I could load it the fuck up and like I'd be exhausted by the time I was done with those.
Yeah.
And then I see people do all kinds of variations in between and their elbows are out and it's almost a skull crusher, and I'm like do you people even know like what's the purpose? Like why are you doing this? Are you guys trying to work the outer head of your tricep?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And it amazes me how people don't know. Like I ask people questions all the time and they have no idea. Well, I saw it on a video. I'm like, but like, so you don't even really know what it's supposed to be working or how to do it, or like, I go, that's just absolutely baffles my mind.
Yeah.
I just can't understand it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I think it gets frustrating for me sometimes. I think there's a lot of people that are like, that people look up to in powerlifting sometimes, that they get used to always giving their answer like, just because I said so, because I'm strong, listen to me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what you should be telling people. I get it. Like sometimes people just need to listen to you. Like, hey, just like, I'm sure you got people in your gym where sometimes you're like, you just need to trust me. Just do it.
Just do it.
But
yeah.
sometimes like, it's like, I don't want you to just do it because I told you to do it. Like sometimes I want you to do it because like you understand, because otherwise you're going to be putting stuff out of context into your training the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm that way. I'm like, I tell people all the time, I go, you can ask me. I go, every now and then there's a few things that I do, and I'm going to go, I honestly don't know. It's worked for me. The majority of the time, I have, like, this is why I'm doing it. This is how it's supposed to be done. And, like, I expect that. And, like, all the guys I looked up to, I would ask them because I want to know. I don't just tell me what to do. Like, I want to know why you're doing it. And like you said, in context, how I can use it. And then if that comes into play somewhere different, I know, oh, hey, I have this weakness. Oh, I remember that exercise and it was specifically for this. And like, I can fix that. And I'm just amazed at how people just want to follow. It baffles me.
Yeah.
But it's the whole personal trainer thing too. I've always went, why do you want to pay someone $35 to $65 an hour when you can buy a book or go on YouTube? Like, I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Or spend $200. And then people will bitch about, oh man, that seminar's $200.
Yeah, exactly.
If this is the right person, that's the best $200 you could ever spend. I go, you're spending more than that on fucking shit you're shooting into your body, and you don't have any clue where that comes from.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, knowledge is the best thing you could have.
Yeah, and I don't think appreciate it in the beginning of training or competing, but now it's like I'm learning to love the problem solving of powerlifting, just the experiment that this is. Mm-hmm. Just like trying something. Try it for a while, see if it works. Okay, why didn't it work? If it did work, why did it work? Like that's the kind of shit that I'm just learning to appreciate. And it's like, it's
or
cool,
is there,
man.
Even if it didn't work, is there something I can take from it?
Oh, for sure.
I think that's one of the things I loved about the sport to begin with, is it's like I can never conquer it, which is frustrating and a challenge at the same time. Because I'm like, what gets me here isn't going to get me to the next step. And like, what little things do I do? And I know that I always need to be looking at my technique, and I always need to be looking at my weak points, because there's no possible way my body's going to grow all at the same time. So you're always going to be chasing a weak point. And even now, I'm kind of like, even reading that book, I was laughing a little bit, because I'm like, it's almost like this is completely new to me now. Because now I am going basically what Wendler said. It's like, I'm not looking for this huge put up a 1,200-pound squat. I'm looking to like be way stronger than norm, but have a better life. And it's like, I'm not so much worried about the 1 rep max as I am being strong with more reps. And I mean, I will still be the guy that like every so often I'm going to test my 1 rep max because I want to know. But which actually surprised me as I started playing with his 1 rep calculator thing, because I've never liked that, because I'm like, well, there's times in my life where my 1 rep max was like 20 pounds heavier than my best 5 because I never trained to 1 rep and my technique sucked. And I actually put some numbers into the last ones I did, and I go, wow, that's pretty much about where I figured my 1 rep max is right now. I go, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm super excited to watch to see how that, as you finish these next couple weeks and get into that, how that goes for you. It's it's interesting for me right now because since we talked last and following your stuff on social media, and it's just, and then like too with, I think like you, me, and Vinny are almost in like 3 totally different situations, but pursuing the same thing in a sense. And it's kind of cool to see how everybody's differences, like everyone working through different stuff. And it's been cool over the last, since Vinny started 5 through 1, and then the adjustments he's made over time. He kind of did the same thing I think you're thinking of doing. He started off just was like, I'm just gonna not change anything. I'm gonna get this foundation set, and he did that. And then over time, he's adjusted and he's started doing some kind of, it's different than the way I do it, but some like basically speed work that he does to increase his overall volume and to work speed. And he was mentioning to me in that podcast how speed is something he realized he always needs to be working on. And yeah, it's cool to see everybody do it. And it's cool that like, that's Jim's goal, is that everybody takes that and is able to make it their own. And I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I when I talk about conjugate all the time, I tell people, I go, you people don't understand. Like, you guys think it's just set program, and conjugate is not a set program.
No.
I go, it's basically an outline, and so is 5-3-1. It's basically here's good principles, and he even says it in the book a couple times. He's like, I just want you to take these basic principles that made me come up with this program away. Even if you don't do it, like, these are solid principles. And that's kind of where I always looked at conjugate and why I liked conjugate to begin with, because I went, okay, for my throwing background, I know speed is important. Force equals mass times acceleration. I go, you can't really argue with that. And it was all the principles, but everybody wants to stick to the same fucking template. And it's like, it wasn't designed to be that way. It's designed to be twisted to what you need and your weak points. And I think speed's a funny one to me, because I think there are people that are just fucking explosive. And I don't know if speed training is going to be all that beneficial to them.
Yeah.
Some people that are slow as fuck, and they're always going to be slow as fuck. So it might not even be that great for them. I mean, maybe they're just better spending that time with heavier weights. I don't know. But I mean, for me, I like speed work, and I think it's beneficial. It's going to be hard for me not to do speed work for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I like it, and it'll be interesting to see if I do keep the ability to generate the speed. I mean, honestly, if I keep getting better, my speed will probably naturally just improve anyway.
Yeah.
Because I won't be so beat up.
Well, and speed seems to be, at least from what I can understand, one of those things that if you've been fast and you have a good foundation, you can get it back quickly. So like if you took some time and you get stronger on Jim's program and then you work speed back in, I think within, at least from whatever I could see, within a couple weeks, the speed, even if it dropped off a little bit, gets going again.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that, especially with somebody who has an experience with speed and training explosive and stuff, I think it does come back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where, like, I mean, and that's one of the things I said about conjugate. I go, I think there's people that could probably do speed like every 4th week and maintain where they have. I've never seen anyone actually try that, but I think it would work.
That's actually something Jim talked about in a T Nation article he wrote a few years ago, like called like 10 things I would do different or something. And he said that for himself, and I think Dave might have actually mentioned something this to me too one time, that he noticed that he could maintain his speed doing speed work less than once a week. So like, and because of the amount of that speed work beat him up at the time of like elbows and stuff for speed bench, that he's like, if I did it all over again, I would spread out my speed work 2 or 3 weeks across. And Bob Young's might even said the same thing too. I feel like I've heard a couple of them say that, where they were like, you basically want to do speed work just enough to keep your speed.
To keep your speed, yeah. I mean, that's the point. That's the whole point of it is that. So it'd be interesting to. That's kind of some instances. I wish I had a gym. I had a team of a bunch of guys so I could like still play with this shit with other people. Find a guy that's really fast and go, listen, you're already fast. Like, I don't think we need to waste too much time on this. Let's hit other things, because it still boils down to how much time do you have and how much can you recover.
Yeah.
If you already are fast and speed training isn't going to necessarily give you that much of a benefit, what could you do in its place to get a better benefit? Because it's kind of wasting time. I mean, it's no different than somebody who does a shit ton of stupid accessory movements. It's like, dude, you're eating up recovery time. Like, you're training your body harder, and it's going to be harder for you to recover when that stuff's not benefiting you as much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's like kind of that, like the challenge of detaching yourself from loving any one aspect of training too much from a planning standpoint, because I've had people that like I've been trying to put stuff together for them, and it's like, well, I want to do this all the time. I'm like, yeah, but it's not conducive to like your recovery. It's not conducive to you getting better. And it's like, there's a certain thing to be said for like, if you want to do something, like do it. But at a certain point, like you got to decide, are you doing this because you just want to like do everything that's fun for you at the time? Or are you doing it because you want to get better,
Well, there's plenty of times where I go into the gym and I go, man, I really don't want to do this lift.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why don't I want to do it? Because it sucks and it's hard. And I go, well, maybe that's what then that's what I'm doing. Cause that's what I should be doing. Because if I love it too much, it might be too easy for me.
Yeah, that would be interesting, man. I'm pumped to keep watching to see that as you move forward. And then, I've been learning a ton from watching Vinny and just seeing like, even as I was kind of glad you even asked me about my stuff, because I had it like notes all spread out, but I hadn't really sat down and like typed it into one little thing to look at. So it's kind of actually helpful to like sit and look at it and kind of re-examine a little bit too. But so one of the other things that we talked a little bit about last time that I was like, when you asked me about talking this weekend, I was like, well, why don't we just talk about this too and throw it up as a podcast? Is like, we talked about the mental side of competing. And I've found too, and it sounds like this might be kind of a similar case with you, that like, as much as like menial life things will drive me into the ground with anxiety and I won't sleep for days, that in some ways high pressure moments I've almost been eerily calm with. And I don't know if that kind of comes with like the nature of like when you're so burnt out from anxiety from little stuff that you're just like, all right, now this is actually something that I can focus on. But I found like for me that competing, I've actually been a lot less anxious about actual competing than I have, like at least being on the platform, than I have when I'm, just other stuff. But I know you talked last time about how you see a lot of people make mistakes when it comes to mental stuff with competing. So I don't know what's kind of some of the common stuff you keep seeing pop up.
I'm going to go back to the first thing you said. That's an interesting concept. I haven't necessarily thought of it in that way. I'm eerily calm before meets, and actually when I was competing heavier, some of my best nights of sleep were the night before the meet.
That's interesting.
And I'm like right now I'm trying to think why. Now, I mean, I've had a lot of experience competing, and when I was younger, my dad was always really reading books and stuff like that, and I think I had to read the Norman Anthony Peale's Power of Positive Thinking or whatever the hell the book was when I was like in middle school or something like that. And my dad was always an athlete, so I mean he taught me about visualization, and like I was doing all that stuff when I was a little kid. So I have a lot of experience with it, but I don't know, now that you think about it, it is like to me the night before the meet is like okay, like everything that I did I get to show tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like and at that point, it's like the clearest point with me that if I'm stressed out tonight, like it's going to affect tomorrow. Like I need to be calm and I need to be relaxed. And then the morning of the meet, I'm really calm, and I do my stretching and warm ups, and like everybody's like, what's wrong with you? And I go, just waiting. And then like once we start warming up, I start changing and going into this completely different zone in my mind. And even then though, it's still calm. Like I've had we've had times, I remember one WPO meet, the back was all kind of a mess, and my Ethan's starting to wrap my legs, and like people are bumping into him, and he's just like, fucking get the fuck out of the way, and he's just like all pissed off. And I'm like, hey man, calm down, dude. Like, calm down. But then as soon as I stand up, once they're done, it's like completely I turn into an animal, and it's like just switch. And then as soon as that lift's done, right back to like, okay, like everything, it's like, it's weird. It's like I have this great control. I don't have that control the rest of my life.
Well, it's
with everything else.
Yeah, I've tried to been wrap my head around it too, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but yeah, it's like for me, it's almost like I get to a meet and there's like the platform and everything's here. It's like finally something that I can just go focus on, and it's like I see other people freaking out, and it's almost like something where you're kind of like, oh, like you feel anxious right now? Like I feel anxious every day. This is now I get to go do something with it, you know? So it's almost like this sense of like, here's something to control. I'm going to go get under this weight and I'm going to take it for a ride. And there's something calming about that, at least for me. And it sounds like for you too. It's been, it's always been interesting. I've actually found that even outside of lifting, like I've had some different jobs where like I was an EMT for a while and stuff, and like stuff where high pressure situations would happen. And I found that like I was the calmest when shit would actually hit the fan. It was like, it's like everything goes okay, or I'm like a day off from work where I'm supposed to be relaxing and you'd think my life was falling apart. But then like something actually happens where you have to get in the zone. And I found that that's like almost calming for me, because I'm like, okay, well now this is something to focus on. And I don't know if that's kind of a similar boat that some people fall into. But
I don't know, you were speaking, you mentioned control, and like it was funny because it was the exact same thought in my head right when you said that. Is like, maybe it is that like in life there's so many things that we don't have control over, and like we can do whatever we want and we don't have much of an impact on it. And when you come into that sporting situation, it's like, yeah, this is me. This is my training coming up to here. This is me showing what I can do. Like, it's, if I miss this lift, it's my fault. And if I make this lift, it's my fault. This is just me. And I think that's like that. And I'm like you. It seems like the higher the pressure of the situation, the more I can focus.
It's
like
crazy.
Almost where I need a certain amount of pressure before it actually kicks in.
Yeah.
I fought a lot when I was younger, and I loved fighting because it was the same thing. It was like, this is me. How much can I do? How bad am I? How much, even if I do end up losing during part of this fight, it's like, how much can I take? How much am I going to go? Am I going to quit? Like, how far can I push myself? Like, and it really, like everything else in the world faded away except for that one thing. And I could put all my focus on that one thing. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, it's almost like, it's like, yeah, when I like worked, when I was in college, it was like, I bounced at these like shitty nightclubs at the college area, and like, you'd be like working and it'd be boring, and I'm like, gosh, I'm just like kind of just like on edge, anxious, and then as soon as somebody would walk up and like punch you in the face, you're like, yes, it's finally like so you could do something now. And it's like, it's like this weird, like you said, it's that word control, man. It's like navigating how that plays out in our lives is so different from like, just, I guess, hesitate to even say average person because everybody's all over the place, but like, you know, what is normal. But
you know, there's I'm probably getting off topic again. There's this a movie called We Were Warriors about the Maoris in New Zealand and how much trouble they have, because they still get in a lot of trouble. And my mom actually brought this up to me at one time because supposedly back in our family we're from, my original name was Von Eyck, and we were supposedly blue bloods and like protectors. And my mom brought up the point one time that like, she goes, I think the men in this family have such a problem because it's still in your genetics to be warriors. And now you're in a society where you have to obey the rules and you have to be this and you have to be that. And it's not okay to just say that man's a jerk, I'm going to punch him in the face until he shuts up. And so like, and maybe it comes back to that whole control thing. Maybe there is like some sort of genetic trait that's been handed down that we were supposed to be warriors and men, and now in a society where you're not supposed to do that, where you're not supposed to get mad if you get wronged. And so like it's kind of control. That's like, you put a warrior in a situation where he can't be a warrior.
Oh, for sure. Well, I
And
mean,
maybe that's what draws so many similar type personalities to powerlifting. I mean, I love looking at sports and athletes and looking at regular people and then looking at athletes and especially strength athletes and seeing all the similarities and stuff that we have in our past and getting into some of the mental issues and some of the stuff we deal with. I mean, there's so many similar things.
yeah, I mean, to your point, like, I mean, and I guess it's making me think more about this now that you mentioned it, but like people that are quote unquote struggling with all these things that we're struggling with, I mean, in another world and time, maybe we serve a purpose that's not a downside. Like that's, if you're supposed to be out like, hunting or fighting or all these things like, and just it's the world is black and white in that role in society, then this is perfect. The way that we're wired is perfect. But you're in a society or jobs or culture where there's so much gray area, and then it's hard for somebody with those traits to navigate that. I mean, that makes sense to me. And
Right.
it's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of logic to that thinking. Yeah, especially when you start looking and you look at the similarities of people. Like, so back to the mental thing, one of the things that pisses me off a lot is I see people going for lifts in the gym and PRs in the gym and stuff like that. And to me, I love the mental aspect. The mental aspect of lifting has always been more to me than the physical aspect. I mean, yeah, I like pushing myself physically, and I like that feeling, and I like sweating and going hard, and I love that little euphoric feeling after a great training session where your body's like exhausted, but you're like, I still feel fucking great, man. But it's really the mental side of everything that I love, especially like when you start talking about going for world records and shit. You're like, no one has ever done this. Like, I'm gonna do this. But I think one of the biggest things I see is that's something you can work on. That's something you can improve on and get better on. And I see people in the gym going for their maxes, and if they miss it, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again. And I'm like, dude, this needs to be like a meet. First of all, you don't need to be trying these weights 9 fucking times. Granted, I've done this in the past, and I have some hysterical stories of doing shit like that. But like, you need to not do that. And then the same thing, like going to meets, you go to meets and you see people that are stressed out and they want to puke and they're gagging, and you're like, how many meets have you done? Oh, this is my 15th meet. I'm like, what? And you're still doing this? Like, mental strength can be worked on just like physical strength. And I think I see too many people that never work on that aspect. Or even you have the guy that goes, well, when I can bench 500 pounds, I'll do a meet. I go, well, if you physically can bench 500 pounds, you're probably going to go to the meet and fuck it all up.
No.
Because you've never done a meet and you've never worked on being mentally strong and in that situation. And so, I mean, that's where I'm like, do a meet now. I don't care what you bench, do a meet now, because that's part of the training. That's part of growing and becoming a better lifter. And with visualization, I think even Wendler talked about visualization in that book. Like, visualization is a huge thing, and it's huge for your mentality. When I first started powerlifting, I would actually, like a month before the meet, I would go, okay, 20 minutes, like 4 days a week, go into my room, shut the lights off, sit against the wall, and just run through the competition over and over in my head. See it from my perspective, see it from an outside perspective, and just see it from every different view I could, and always being successful. And so I think for me, like, that's one of those aspects of lifting that doesn't get talked about much. And it's so huge. I mean, I can't tell you the guys I go to meets and I go, yep, he missed it. Like, I know as soon as he picks it up, because you can just see it in his eyes. Like, they already gave up. And that's one of those things in the gym where, like, if I got new guys, man, I'm like, I don't give a shit if you, like, I want you to pick up 200 pounds more than you can do in that lift, because I want you used to that weight. I don't want you going to the meet and picking it up and going, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I want you ready to be prepared for it mentally as well as physically.
For sure. I mean, competing's a skill. I mean, especially at the bigger meets, the strongest person does not always win. In fact, I would say in more cases, the strongest people are not winning, because you can see it. Yeah, there's like people who can crush their lifts in training. They get to the meet, and yeah, it's like as more time goes on, and maybe it's because of the mental stuff I've dealt with, I'm becoming more in tune with being able to read other people's emotions. But I can see somebody walk up to the bar and know they're gonna miss. Like I could see it. And I've even had people where now as more time goes on, when I'm like coaching somebody or watching somebody lift, or even like this past weekend at, you know, at Elite, seeing some people, you know, deadlifting with them and stuff, I can look at somebody and now it's like, I'm like, you know what? They don't need a bunch of cues from me right now. They need to get their head together. And I'll tell them, pull them to the side and be like, hey, like, don't think about any of this other stuff right now. Get your shit together in your head. Like, go do this. Like, you don't need to be thinking about 20,000 different cues in your head. If I can see it in your eyes that you're gonna go doubt yourself and miss this lift, you know,
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But that goes back to training it. Like in the gym, people are like, it's in the gym. It's like, no, if it's a max effort day, or if you're going for an opener, or if you're going for a PR, like that should be kind of a meet situation. And, you know, we train in the gym to get our technique better. Even when I went to a meet, like my guys don't ever give me more than 3 cues, because I'm at a meet. Like most of my brain is me visualizing and making this lift. But yeah, I'm always going to have little things I need to think about. So it's 1 or 2. Like, and if I have to think about more of that at the meet, then my training wasn't right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because you should never have like 20 different things you need to think about at a meet. Like by that point, you should have your shit together.
Yeah.
But I think I would like to see people work on that stuff more. Like, here you go. This is your PR. You get 1 attempt at this lift today. Like, that's it. That's all you get. And if you miss it, guess you wait till we do this again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because people that keep doing that and they go to the meet and then they get all flustered because they're like, oh my God, it's the only one. I have to get it. Like, well, yeah, so what? Like, but they're so flustered because they haven't ever trained that way or looked at it that way. And I mean, that goes into having people like judging your depth and shit. Guys go to meet and like they're squatting 4 inches high and all their partners are like, oh, it was deep. It was deep. I go, you're probably ass wiping the gym that kept telling him he was hitting parallel.
It's to the basement, bro. Yeah. Man.
They froze up again a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because I don't know, that was just one of the things. I actually had a training partner one time who we talked about. He's like, I've never seen anyone that can miss the first lift like you can and like not have it affect you at all. And I go, but it doesn't. Like, and maybe that's throwing. I mean, throwing, you get like 3 lifts and then you move on. If you qualify, you move on. Like, I'm like, it's how can that one lift affect the other 2? They're completely separate things. And especially if I'm smart enough to know why I missed that lift, you go, so what? I missed it because of this. My warm-ups didn't even affect what was on the platform. Like, the platform is a whole different fucking unit to me. Like, it's almost like warming up is almost still the gym to me, and the platform is the platform. So, like, I mean, I've had meets where I come in and I feel fucking horrible. Like, maybe it was one of the meets where I slept like shit night, and you start warming up and everything feels like shit, and like everybody around me's freaking out, and I'm like, dude, this means nothing. Like, this means absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Because in the warm-up room too, like, I don't ever get pissed off. I see guys get pissed off and pumped up in the warm-up room, and I'm like, why? You're just wasting energy.
Yeah. Like,
really should be as calm as shit before the meet. Like, the only time you should get pumped up is going into that lift.
Yeah, the platform. Go ahead.
And then once you get into that lift, it's a completely different story.
Oh, for sure. Well, like the platform as a whole, like I've come to just be at peace with the fact of like how I feel outside of being on those 4 sides of the platform means nothing. I've had, especially deadlift warm-ups. Deadlift warm-ups feel like nothing's moving right. But then as soon as you step on the platform, it's go time. And my opener always feels 200% lighter than the last warm-up did.
Yeah.
And to your point too, with people being too high energy throughout the meet, that's one of the biggest things. I had one of my lifters was lifting at XPCs this past year, and she did a great job, but she's very high energy and high strung too, and she's sitting there between, like, she's like, you know, an hour away from even warming up before one of her lifts, and they're like bouncing her legs and listening to music, and I'm like, you gotta relax. I'm like, if you do this, by the time you hit bench today, you are going to be fried. You can't do it. You don't have that much in the tank. You gotta relax. I'm like, it's one of the first things I do now is when one of my lifters gets off the platform, I go, okay, go take some deep breaths, chill out, wait till the next one. Like, there's no sense in being listening to DMX and freaking out for the next 2 hours till you lift your deadlifts.
Yeah. And that again goes back to something you can train in the gym. I mean, I know with my partners, it was like we're all joking and laughing, and then when one guy gets under the bar, like instantly everything changes. And then when that lifts over again, it goes back to joking and teasing each other, and like, you know, we're working on that whole meet scenario the whole time. And you see some guys get in the gym, they're just pumped up and going the whole time. It's like you need to learn to be able to go up and down, and to be able to go, okay, this is when I need to turn it on, and this is when I need to turn it off. And when I first started lifting, one of the guys I really looked up to was my friend from Trinidad, and he was this huge guy. First guy I saw benched like over 500 raw, and we ended up becoming friends, and we would do these moots, and he has this totally relaxed Trinidad, like just chilled out, like way of dealing with things. And I remember sitting like in the chair, waiting to be up. And like he's making me laugh, and he's cracking up, and they call his name, and he'd go up and he'll hit like a 700-pound squat like nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, like how the hell does he do that? And then he comes right back and starts making me laugh again. And I'm like, there's something to this. Like I need to like learn to like be able to turn this on and off, which I kind of always could for a little bit. I learned in high school to like control my anger and how to flip it on and off, But even seeing that, and it's like you said, like you're wasting energy. If you're that amped up through the meet, you're wasting energy that could go into that lift. And I've even had people tell me that like, you shouldn't get so pumped up before your lift because you're wasting energy. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a point to this.
Yeah.
Yes, I've tried to lift without getting pumped up, and it's not me. Like that, it's just not me. And I'm not saying that's for everyone either, because there's guys that like, I think they have that rage on the inside, but they look really calm. And then if they tried to get pumped up, they probably wouldn't lift as well. So I think that's a little bit of an individual thing, but I'm betting if you talk to them, their view on the whole thing is pretty similar to mine. I mean, like to me, that platform is honestly like stepping on a battlefield, and like it becomes all or none. Like there can't be any hesitation in your brain. There can't be, well, when I did the WPO, when I ended up taking second place at the WPO at the Arnold, I had torn my hamstring really good. I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks before the meet. And like even stepping on that platform, I think I opened with 1140, you know, in the warm-up room, I'm like, wow, this is going to be interesting. Like this, who knows what's going to happen with my hamstring in this one. But by the time you get on the platform, like you can't have like, okay, if it rips off, it rips off. I'm still going to get the squat. Like there is no fear. There's no worry about it. And the same thing. And that's why I say it's like a battlefield. You get on a battlefield, you can't go into battle going, what if I die? What if I get hurt? Like you have to go into the battlefield going, I'm going to kill and hurt people.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing on the platform. And I just see too many people go up and they're tentative. And it's like, there's no room for tentative here. Like this is all or none. This is life or death. This is literally the only thing in your universe at this moment. And it's kind of like when I say I've seen people, I can see in their eyes they're going to miss it. Well, they don't have to miss it. Like they have the strength to do it, but they don't think they can. And I'm not saying I'm like a Superman all the time. Like there's times when I have doubts. And I mean, when I first started lifting and I decided, hey, listen, I can be pretty good at this. Like I would tell people, I'm going to squat 900 pounds clean. I go, I think 1,000 clean can be done. And people are like, no fucking way. Like, there's no way. My partners are like, dude, that's not going to happen. Like, you can't squat 1,000 pounds clean. And I'm like, yeah, there was a little doubt. Like, I'm like 1,000 pounds. That's a huge number. Like, nobody's ever done that at that point that I had known anyway. So, yeah, I mean, there was a little doubt, but I convinced myself. I'm like, yeah, you can definitely do 9, and we're gonna try 1,000. Like,
yeah.
And I did. But when you get on the platform, you can't go, hey, I don't know, you know. I'm going to try. No, bullshit. There is no try. There's like, I'm going to do this. And I guess because I love that part of it. Like, I love that challenge. I love when people tell me I can't do it. But then to see a person get up there and lift, and you're like, God damn it, like, that person could do this if they would just say they could do it. If they would just believe they could do it, they have the strength.
Yeah.
And like, that kind of shit irritates me. Like, it irritates me anytime I see somebody miss a lift for something stupid. I was at a Wabville Worlds one time, just helping some friends out, and I saw this kid who had the best bench technique I had seen at the meet, which got me excited anyway. I love watching people that have good technique. But he wasn't blasting through his shirt. He would like let the shirt go and then push, and he was going for like a state record or something like that. And I'm like, man, like, that kid can do this. Like, he shouldn't miss this goddamn lift for something so minute. And so I went up and I go, excuse me, sir, like, would you mind if I give you some advice? And he's like, yeah. Or he's like, yeah, please, or something, like, whatever. And I go, well, I don't know if you know me. And he goes, yes, I know who you are. I go, okay, like, you can do this lift. Like, you can do this lift. You have that lift plus more in you. I'm like, you need to, like, fire off your chest. Like, don't wait for the shirt. When you hear press, everything goes. Like, you go through that shirt. And he went up and he got that, and then he went up again and like, made it an even bigger state record or whatever it was. But like, I mean, that kind of stuff just irritates me so bad. And even at that, I mean, it was a technique issue, but I kind of think that there might have been something to, like, well, if Chad said I could do this, then I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but people need to have that inside them. They need to have that ability inside them. And I think everyone does have it. It's just, it takes a while to get it and learn it, and a lot of people don't want to put the work in, which goes back to, you need to be positive in the gym too. You need to kind of put yourself in that same place and put yourself in the meet. And it goes back to visualization too. Like, that's a huge thing too. If you can watch yourself at the meet and do the meet and see it and feel it and smell it, that gives you that much more confidence when you're there to do it.
For
and
sure.
Everybody wants to train and they want to put in the work, and you have to put in the work, and you have to work hard. But that doesn't just mean the physical work. It means the mental work too.
Well, it's like the sports psychologist for OSU that I had on for my first episode. One of the things he said that he always talks to athletes when they're kind of they're neglecting the mental side of things. He said, he's like, it's funny. You ask any athlete in pretty much any sport, what percentage of your sport do you think is mental? And without a doubt, all of them will be like, oh, like 90%, 100%, 95%, like a crazy amount. And they'll ask, what percentage of your time do you spend on the mental side? And everybody's like 5%, 1%, 0%. And he's like, doesn't make sense, does it? Like, there you go.
That's very true. It's very true.
But it's common. Yeah, and to your point with the missing lifts thing too, one thing that I've tried to encourage people with is, I'm like, I think a lot of people, they get this, they start to build up in their head this fear of, like, rather than thinking of going to get this lift as wanting to go get it, they think of, I'm scared of missing it. And it's like, and I try to tell people, I'm like, listen, it's fucking weights. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to get it or you're not going to get it. Go get it. Like, that's the way you have to look at it. Like, you know, these are challenging things you're going to try to do, but it's like, if you're only stepping on the platform because you can't wait for it to be over and you're fearing missing the lift, like, you've defeated yourself. Like, you're either going to get it, white lights, you're going to get red lights. Go fucking get them. Like, that's the way you got to look at it, you know?
I think one of the things I argue with a lot of people going into meet philosophy is, a lot of people, like, I hear people, I went 9 for 9. I absolutely hate 9 for 9. Because either you had the best goddamn fucking meet of your life, or you left something on the platform. It's pretty rare to have the best meet of your life.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they set their numbers up, that, oh, I have to hit this, and then this, and then this. And so they set their whole total up based on hitting these third attempts. Well, if you miss one attempt, now you have all this pressure of, okay, shit, do I still jump up? But what if I don't have a number in the meet yet? And da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. Like, all my guys on my team, we always set it up based on 2 lifts.
That's
like,
all.
This is the number I want. I need to get it with 2 lifts, because you know what? There's a lot of shit that can go wrong.
Yep.
So I want that extra lift if something goes wrong. And if I hit my first two and the second one was awesome, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Well, then, hey, I'm saving energy for my bench or my deadlift because I'll just pass in that third one. Or if I hit the second one great and I'm like, holy shit, I feel friggin' awesome. Now, bam, my total's way ahead of where it was if I hit that third. And I had another point and I lost it. If you look at all the top lifters, like all the best lifters, they're mentally very strong.
Yeah.
There are a few. There's one big guy I knew that like wouldn't pick his own numbers and couldn't know what the numbers were, which just baffled me, like absolutely baffled me. Like his training partners would pick all of his numbers and he would never even know till after the meet. And I'm like, that's just insane. I can't even understand.
That would drive me crazy. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, like just go lift. Like, what do you mean? No, I want to know what I'm lifting for. It's like No Country for Old Men. We need to know what we're flipping for here.
Yeah.
But like all those guys, they have that level. And I remember when I first started lifting, the first person I saw squat over 1,000 was Brent Meixel, who to me is one of the best squatters of all time. Like his technique was just like perfect all the time. And it always looked exactly the same. And I think he broke Ed Cohn's like 1,040. And then he went like 1,070. And then he went like 1,090. And then I think Goggins ended up beating him to 1,100. And then Brent went like 1,120 and 1,160 and 1,170. And like he was just this leader the whole way. And I was always impressed by that. And I had talked to him one time after he had stopped lifting. And I'm like, man, like what you did was pretty amazing. I mean, you basically took the record from 1,040 to 1,170. And like you were the leader the whole time. And like that takes a really, really strong mentality to always be going, I can push this, I can push this, I can push this. And the proof that it takes that kind of mentality is that if you ever look at all the records and stuff, it's like that one guy breaks 1,100 pounds. And it's like, holy shit. Now all of a sudden, like quickly after that, you start seeing a lot more guys hitting those 1,100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do it before? Possibly because they needed to know somebody else could do it. I mean, because it's like, I mean, literally, you're getting on the platform going, no one has ever done this before.
Yeah.
And for me, that's an awesome feeling. Like that jacks me up. Like even when I missed my 12:21, like that whole meet, I came in heavy. My gear was tight as shit. I was uncomfortable. And I'm like, I missed my first two attempts. And I'm like, man, it just like, something's not right today. And I'm like, you know what, Ethan? Like, fuck it. We planned on the record. Let's go for the record, man. And we put on like 12:21. And actually, I had to pull my briefs down. Like my shit was just too tight. So I pulled my briefs down below my belly so it didn't have as much support. And like, I'm like, yeah, yes. Like as soon as we called for the world record, I'm like, right on. This is what I needed. Like I need some fucking excitement, man. I need to do something, like something big's got to happen. And like that pumped me up and I stood up with it, but I got called for death. So it didn't go. But I mean, like that rush, I love that rush. I love going for something different. And even when I was still drug free, like I had broken all the drug free records. So I started competing in APF more and WPC because I'm like, I want more of a challenge. Like I smashed all these drug free records. I don't give a shit if I'm on or not. Let's go after this stuff. Maybe I eventually go on, but
yeah, I mean, that's a mentality I think more people need to take. I think, a lot of drug-free guys kick themselves or shoot themselves in the foot too because they think in their head. And, there's something to be said for being able to identify, like, okay, is like you get stronger, is like your training partners get stronger to know all the factors that feed into it. But, like, I think a lot of people in their effort to always be like, well, drugs this, drugs that, they put a ceiling on themselves. And I'm like, no, just go keep getting stronger, go do it. And I mean, and then it's like it blows their minds when they find out guys like you or, a lot of these other lifters that are doing some crazy stuff that, like, you weren't always on shit. Like, it's like you did some pretty big stuff without it. I'm like, just go do it. Like, stop. you're not giving yourself permission to go succeed.
Right. Right. They're actually looking for ways to limit themselves instead of going. And I had a discussion with my training partner, Scott, years back. And, he had fully admitted, he goes, I don't think I would have ever done the numbers I did if I hadn't trained with you and saw you do them. Because he goes, I'm not sure I would have thought it was possible. And I think that's one of the things I with new lifters, and like we said earlier, everybody wants to know what training do I need to do, what shirt do I need to get? Well, not so much gear anymore, but like what nutrition, what like mentality is this huge gap that nobody talks about. And I think to me, it's almost one of the first ones. And I mean, I'd have to thank my father for like starting me off with it when I was young, where that it actually kind of became like second nature to me to look at things that way. And it's funny, there's so many other aspects of my life I didn't look at it that way, but I try to do that more now. But there's so many lifters I see with so much potential that I'm like, it's that little mental thing is what they don't have. I mean, I've seen some big, strong sons of bitches where I bet you money if I said pick up that rock and I go, that's only 300 pounds, they would pick it up if it was 800 pounds.
Yeah.
But they limit themselves and they don't think that they're good enough or big enough or strong enough to do that. And it's like, if you have the muscle to do it, the muscle can do it. So you have to put in the work, you have to train, you have to do the technique, but your mind is going to be one of the first things that can make or break you. You can be strong as shit and your mind can make you not lift that.
Yeah. Couldn't agree
I think that's
more.
an aspect that people don't look at.
I mean, that's the whole reason I wanted to start this podcast, because I'm like, it's, obviously there's the mental side, the mental health side of things, but then like the mental side of training. I mean, it's just, you see all these people that, especially something Dave and I have talked about, is like, especially as people go from beginners to intermediate to advanced lifters, and most powerlifters quit after a couple of years as soon as things get tough. And it's because of the mental side of things. It's like, especially with powerlifting getting more popular and more people entering the sport, it's great. You'll have people that they'll make a ton of that beginner progress the first couple of years, they'll have some fun, and then they'll hit that intermediate stage where a 5-pound PR is all of a sudden a bigger challenge than it was when you first started, and most people quit. And it's like, that's why I'm like, if you can start off on the right foot with the mental side of things, that's what's going to be able to get you to, if you think just drugs or just the best gear or just the best gym that you're in is going to get you from beginner to advanced, you're wrong. It's going to be you have to have the mentality to get you there, because that's what's going to carry you through those like adversity, times and stuff.
Yeah. And powerlifting is a tough sport, man. Like, I mean, like you said, the stronger you get, the smaller your gains are going to get. The stronger you get, the more important your technique gets, the more important your nutrition gets. The fact is, we beat the crap out of our bodies and we put it through a lot. So you got to get through injuries. I mean, I've seen injuries like take great athletes completely out. And not because the injury didn't heal, because it got to them mentally. And they just gave up. And I mean, I've talked to a couple kids lately that were lifting, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go back to bodybuilding because like it's just too tough. Like they can't deal with the pressure, with how it makes you feel, with pushing yourself that hard all the time, and they can't deal with like not making the gains. Or the guys that come in and go, oh, I want to be this strong. It's like, well, do you know that guy you're chasing did that for 15 years to get there?
No.
It didn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, I've seen some young kids come up pretty quick, but usually they end up hurting themselves, and again, they're gone because they didn't have like the mental fortitude to actually stay with it.
Well, that's like whenever I have people that I train with or work with, or they'll ask me questions and they're going through like a rough time in training where, maybe they're struggling to make progress, or, they've been competing a few years, things are getting tough. I always tell them, I'm like, listen, if you can hang in there and keep pushing forward and persevering through the mental side of things, when you get to the other side, if say you walk in one door and this building is your, the struggle you're working through with adversity and training and competing, if you can make it out the other side, the other door, there's gonna be a lot less people on that other side. Most people don't make it through. So I'm like, if you can just hang with it, Like if you can be mentally strong, there's a lot of strong people out there physically, not a lot of strong people mentally. If you can be strong mentally, you're going to be in rare company. And especially, Dave and I have talked about, then if you keep competing and you start getting to bigger meets, you will be the one that is sitting there at the end of the day that has that's winning. Because, the strongest people, like I said, are not always the ones that make it to 10 years down the road on the platform holding the first place trophy.
No, that's actually one of the things I loved about powerlifting is that I think in some instances it kind of equals out with the genetic advantage that some people have, where not like necessarily in baseball or football, like that genetic advantage can give you quite a big lead. In powerlifting, I've beat a lot of guys that were stronger than me, had better genetics than me, because I was more persistent and I was mentally stronger. Because I just wouldn't quit and I just wouldn't give up. And I never limited myself. I never went, oh, you have poor genetics. I went, okay, my genetics ain't great, so what? Like, I'm going to find a way around it. And I think, and even that was mental strength right there to go, okay, fine, whatever, so what? You have sleep problems. Yeah, so what? Like, this is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to be. And even that, like, there's ways to work on that. I mean, I tell people all the time, I go, get a goddamn Post-it note, buy yourself a bunch of Post-it notes, and write yourself notes. And, like, stick them all over your house. Like, stick them on your mirror in the bathroom so you have to see that thing every morning and have to read it and go, this is my goal. You want to do this weight, or you want to do this lift, or write yourself questions. Is today a training day? How is your training going to go? Right now, how is your training going to go? So you got to think about it and you got to go, I'm going to train awesome tonight. Like, yeah, maybe it's 8 hours away, but yeah, it's going to be a good train tonight. And I know when I first did my first seminar with Dave, he sent me a card afterwards. And it was, great having you here. Good luck, going after 2100 or something. And I think it was 2100. And I'm like, I pinned that right up in my bedroom door. So I looked at it every time I left that room. So, like, I always knew, like, even if it was just 2 seconds that I thought about it, I go, I'm going to hit that total. I'm going to hit that total. And, I think that's where it's a lot of little things with the mental. It's a lot of little things that add up to big things.
Oh, for sure.
And
go ahead.
Because people, even when I hesitate sometimes to talk about how I am on the platform, because it's not just that. I mean, that's where I flip the switch and go 100%, like, full on. But it's all the little things that build up to that. It is the visualization. It is being at the gym and having, okay, this is a PR safety bar box squat. Well, I'll still take that second to visualize, and I'll go, okay, you're to meet. You're to meet right now. This is a full squat. Like, and literally put myself in that situation and go, like kids when you play baseball. This is a 9th inning, last at bat. If I hit this out, we win. Put yourself in that situation and really, really put yourself there. Like I said, smell it, feel it, taste it. Like, put yourself in your mind in that one. And I go, I got one shot to get this lift. I got to get it right. And you're not always going to do it. You're not always going to be successful, but at least you're putting yourself there and you're learning how to deal with that kind of pressure. And you're learning how to take that pressure and put it to the side and be positive and believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
And those are little things, but they add up to huge things. I mean, you're already at the gym, you're already lifting. How much time does it take to visualize it a few times? 30 seconds?
Makes a big difference, man. Something I've been doing lately that I've noticed even helps me is, like, when I'm walking my dog, when I'm somewhere where there's not other people around, so I don't look like a lunatic. I'll talk, like, out loud. I'll say stuff of, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I think there's a lot of value and power in that, man. To say it and to hear yourself say it. And people think, like, oh, that's just silly little stuff. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think it makes a big difference. You declare that you're going to do something, I think even back out here, but okay, I think we're good.
Back.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that, man. Like you said, hanging up that post-it note of the message from Dave, or just walking and saying, "I am going to do this." Just like saying it and hearing it and reading it is just like big. It's a big deal, and I think, at some point you got to choose what path you want to take with this stuff. And as much as people could make fun of positive self-talk, I think it makes a big difference.
I think it does. It's this little bit of it's a little reminder all the time. I mean, you think about it. Okay, if I train 4 or 5 days a week, even, well, that's 5, maybe 10 hours out of how many hours in a week? A shit ton. Like, if you take all those other little things that you take, and I was really, really bad about this when I first started powerlifting. Not bad in a way that it's bad, but like I did it a lot. I thought about training all the time. I actually I would dream new exercises, and I would come in to the gym the next day with a huge grin on my face, and like my teammates would be like, "God damn it, you dreamt up something else, didn't you?" I go, "Oh yeah, we're trying it today." A lot of it ended up being up shit, but I mean, we got a couple good exercises out of it. But I mean, literally, it was always on my mind that you're going to do this and you're going to achieve this, and it's daydreaming. I mean, daydream is kind of a good thing. I mean, I'd be at work and bored as shit, and like, I'd literally start thinking about how much I was going to squat someday, and you have those little reminders to keep pushing you in that groove. And I think it helps get you through your day sometimes too, or it does me. Like, it's a boring, shitty day. I'm like, yeah, but wait till I do this. Like, that's
for sure.
And I just that's one of those things when I see new lifters come up, and I've seen a lot of lifters that stayed mediocre because they never broke through that mental barrier to like be confident in themselves and like stop worrying about what everyone else is doing and what everyone else is saying, and focus on your training and focus on what you need and get where you want to go. And I mean, even with like, I was always into the top 100 lists and stuff like that. But for me, it was like, I want to break top 100. Okay, I want to break top 75. Okay, I want to break top 50. Okay, I want to break top 5. Okay, I want number 1. Where I know a lot of people are like, man, I broke top 50. And like, that's it. That's like, I'm like, well, that's, so you're done? Like, what do you mean? They're just like happy I broke top 50. And I'm like, well, okay, well, all right, like, what's next? And they don't really have a next. And I mean, that's cool if that's your goal. I mean, I tell all the time, hey, you want to bench 315, that's your goal. Good, go for it. Bench 315. Like, but unless you weigh 100 pounds, it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The small goals are good, but it's good because it builds momentum to keep going on to the next thing. So
yeah,
I agree 100%.
Like, even when I talk about goals, which is another mental aspect of it, I go, you need to have 2 goals. You need to have this huge long-term goal, which I don't even mind if it's a little outrageous, but then you got to have the smaller goals to get you to, and I think you need both of those, because sometimes making those smaller goals, you're like, God damn it, like, okay, but wait a minute, here's my big goal. And then, oh yeah, okay, and these are progressing me to that. So you don't feel like you have to jump to this huge goal, but then you don't forget about that, and you realize that the small goals will keep leading you to that big goal.
Oh, absolutely. And to like, I guess, to reiterate how powerlifting just seems to have analogies for everything. I think it's the same thing with the life stuff we've been talking about. We know where we want to be of general improvement, but we also got to have those little stepping stones of like, hey, I did this. All right, next one. But we got to, it's a combination. You got to have the big, grandiose one of like, what am I doing this for? And then you got to have the little ones of like, okay, this is the next notch, and keep getting there. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm actually doing that right now. The other day, I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, because I was thinking about where I wanted to be. And I'm like, Chad, you're only like 6 weeks or 8 weeks into this thing. Like, you've made a lot of progress in 8 weeks. Like, so just calm down. This is not going to happen overnight. Like, you're doing really good. Like, just remember that. Where I kind of had to pull back to look at my big goal and go, okay, well, these little goals, you're moving to where you want to be. Like, you're going to where you want to be. And that's important. And that's something I don't know, lifters. It's funny to me because I've seen so many guys that have so much talent that when I was competing, I beat most of those guys and left them in the dust. And I'm like, why? Why did I get there and they didn't? And still, my answer is almost always mental.
Makes sense, man. Yeah, it's a huge part of it, man. I'm glad we can kind of speak to that, and I think it's kind of a good note to leave people with for today. Of like, yeah, man, hit. That's a big part of training. You're training all this. You spend all this money on other stuff, and you spend all this time on other stuff. Put some into the mental side, and hopefully, people listening to this, and then, I'm gonna have the sports psychologist for OSU on, Steve, again. I think next week. Him and I are going to chat about some specific strategies. It's like, take that stuff and use it, man. It's out there. And yeah, it's like, know that like, if you want to be successful, that's going to be the difference between the other person. I mean, I tell people when they go to meets, I'm like, if you think you're the only one who feels like shit and didn't sleep good and that your lifts are feeling heavy right now, everybody else in the room feels that too. But if you can keep your shit together, you got them. It's the same way with people in other sports too, and so it's a big deal. But
the slide is it's just so huge. I mean, it's just, and that's the same thing with the platform when you're warming up. Like the platform's different. The platform is always different. And the stronger you are mentally, the better the platform is. So if it feels heavy in the warm up room, who gives a shit? Like it's gonna be different on that platform, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
If you're mentally strong, it's going to be better on the platform.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, hey, man, thanks for doing this today. I think I'd be interested to see how, like I said, all that stuff that you're messing with keeps moving forward. And I think I got a lot of good feedback off of last week when you and I chatted. And I think people, everybody's interested to keep getting ideas on how to move forward. We're kind of all, even though we all have different situations, we're all kind of in this shit together.
Well, it's even now with me. Like I've been looking, I listened to Wendler's podcast and Vinny's podcast, and because it's even like we said, it's always a learning process. And where I'm at now is different than what I did to get where I got in powerlifting because the goals are different. And I'm like, man, like I'm fortunate to still be able to have contact with these people to talk to them and see what they're doing and get their opinions. And even when I started this process, I called a bunch of people that I knew. Going like, I know you're smart. I trust you. Like, what's your opinion on me doing this? And do you think it will work? So like, you can't ever stop learning. You can't ever stop working on your mental game. You can't ever stop learning. There's always something new. And that's what, like we said earlier, one thing about the sport, there's always different things. And even you're going to go through different phases in your life. So now it's like, hey, I'm not looking for that 1 rep total number. I'm looking to be in better shape and healthier shape and be able to deal with everything else. But I'm still not so arrogant that I know how to do it. Like, no, I have advantage. I have this ability to be able to talk to these other people and learn. And with today's social media, everybody has that ability. Like there's always information out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. Well, yeah, keep at it, man. And I'm interested to keep watching. And I think these conversations with you in particular couldn't have come at a better time because I think we both seem to be like hitting a good couple weeks of stride here, making good progress. And then we both had like right after last week when we had our talk, I had like a little bump in the road you hit, but it's like all this stuff, the momentum is still allowing me to overcome the little bumps. And I'm hoping that'll continue to keep going. So definitely be excited to keep at it.
Oh, it's interesting because like even after the last time we talked, like the next few days, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, what about this? What about this? Give me this other idea. Talking to Joe, like I need to like it just. I mean, it keeps compounding. I think it's kind of like when you said talking positive, like saying it out loud and stuff like that. I think there's some to that mental aspect of talking it out. And like even I was fortunate with my training partners in the gym. We talked about the mental side of things and how to help each other out and how to do that. And like even us talking, just these conversations here, which I'm curious to see everybody's reactions because it's basically just us talking.
Yeah.
But like the things that come out of it, like you say something and that leads me to think something else, and then you think something else, and like it's just this progression to keep improving and keep learning things. And what are you doing? We're just talking, and that's making but we're learning.
Yeah, every time I leave one of these conversations with you, man, I leave and it's just wheels are turning. I'm like, oh, this and this. And it's like I go talk to my girlfriend after this. I'll be like, oh, yeah, me, Chad, and I talked about this. And then when I'm explaining to her what we talked about, I think of more things. And like it's good stuff, man. So I appreciate you're like, I'm down to just keep having these conversations, and let's just keep, it's given me tons of good ammo for more stuff for the future. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Absolutely, man. So, hey, well, I'll let you get back to the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for chatting, and we'll definitely keep in touch this week.
Okay, sounds good.
Talk to you later.